Welcome to another video, guys. Adrian here, and today we're talking cameras under $1,000 that shoot 4K. This was a topic King Ascension brought up in one of the posts. Thank you for that, mate. And let's get started on the video. So today we're going to be talking about a number of cameras. Now with me today I have three cameras I'm going to be talking about. The GH5 that I'm currently shooting on, the GoPro Hero 7, and the Canon 600D. So let's get back a little bit and get a bit of backstory first. So I've had four cameras all up since I started filmmaking. I've had the GH3, the GoPro Hero 7 now, the 600D, and the GH5. My first ever camera was the 600D, and I've been shooting with this for I don't know how many years. I mostly did stop motion when I had this camera. I used to just shoot it with the 18-55, and then later on I upgraded to the 28-75 f2.8, and this is pretty much the lens that has kind of lived on the body for all my stop motion videos. Now, let's just talk a little bit about the specs of the 600D. I think we'll start off with the 600D. The 600D is honestly a beautiful, underrated camera. It was made in 2011. It shoots 1080p up to, I think it's up to 60 frames. I could be wrong. I think it's just 1080-30 or 1080-50. I will confirm though. It's an absolute beautiful camera, guys. It has a flip screen here, so if you want to vlog or do that kind of stuff, it's fantastic. This, guys, honestly, is one of my favorite cameras of all time. And the reason I love it so much is just because it's so cheap. You can pick these up used from Marketplace on Facebook, Gumtree, depending on where you guys are in Australia, Gumtree, Facebook, and stuff like that. You can pick it up for about $400 to $450, guys. Now, that does generally come with a lens. It'll probably come with the kit lens, which is the 18 to 55, sorry. I'm thinking of the Sigma 18 to 35. Yeah, so the 18 to 55, and you might get the 55 to 250, which is the kit lens as well. And it's just perfect for you guys if you are looking to start off in filmmaking. I mean, most people still today are shooting 1080p, so this camera will be more than enough for you. Do you need 4K? Look, honestly, unless you're looking at cropping in, unless you really need it, unless your client wants it, generally speaking, you don't really need it right now. 1080 still delivers fantastically, on YouTube and stuff like that. The codec on this isn't amazing, like the bitrate. However, it's still great. I mean, you can still get a lot of content out of it. I've seen some awesome music videos produced on this camera. It's a very underrated camera, and you can get yours today for about $400. If you want to get it brand new with the kit lens or just the lens pack, you're looking at about $600 to $650. That's in AU, Australian dollars. Now, let's get on with the GoPro Hero 7. This is the black version, which is the highest upgraded one. Look, I love it. I mean, I love it and I don't like it. There's several reasons. I mean, like, well, one of the reasons, obviously, it's very wide. This is at like a 3.5 millimeter wide lens, so it's insanely wide, guys. This you can get for about $450 from Marketplace, and sometimes you can get it even new. If you want to buy it new from like one of the stores like JB Hi-Fi or whatever, you're looking at about $600 in Australian dollars. Is it a great camera to use as a startup? Look, I'd say yes, absolutely. There are some accessories you can get like this. This is one of the cages I have. You can open it. You have a filter thread there. That's a 52 millimeter filter thread. It's got this shoe mount. Also, it's a metal cage. You just lock it in like this, and it just locks just to keep it safe. You also, on top of it, have a hot shoe. So if you guys want to vlog and stuff, you can actually attach a little sound system on here. You do need a special connection for the GoPro 2, whatever mic you decide to get. It's about $50. So it's just a little increase. The cage itself is around $45, I believe. You can get this on eBay. I'll try and find a link for you guys. But otherwise, look, honestly, this shoots 4K. You can shoot 4K on this up to 60p, I believe. It's a great little camera. It works. It just depends if you guys, mind that kind of really, really wide view, that kind of fisheye look. If that's kind of what you're going for, or you just want to start off with something really portable and small, I definitely recommend the GoPro. It's great. You can shoot vertically. You can shoot like this. horizontally, it doesn't matter, and it's really tiny. You can just chuck it in your pocket and you're ready to go, and you can take this anywhere. The audio on this isn't amazing, so I would recommend getting a cage like this so you can mount it on, and then from there, you guys can just go from there and it'll be sweet. Sorry about that, just got a call. So back to the video, guys. Now going back to the GoPro for a moment, these batteries on the GoPro generally last about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending if you're shooting 4K or not. If you're shooting 4K, you'll probably get a good hour or so out of it. If you're shooting 1080, you can get at least 2 hours, which is great. I have 3 batteries for this, and generally I find it lasts me all day. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about the GH3. I don't have the GH3 anymore. That's one camera I sold a while back in order for me to get the GH5. The GH3 was a great camera, guys. It's a video camera. I think, like comparing it to the 600D, it's a little bit more pricey, but I would say that was more kind of video orientated. This one you can take, stills and stuff, which is great. The GH3 you could also take stills. I found it to be a decent stills camera. I believe it was 16 megapixel, while the Canon 600D is 18 megapixels. So you got a little extra megapixels there, if you want to crop and stuff. I found the GH3 to be a really cool camera, guys. It was great. It takes the same batteries as my GH5, which was fantastic. So I was able to, take the batteries that I had on the GH3 and chuck them on my GH5. The battery life on that was really good as well. Shoots up to 1080. I actually shot a BTS of one of my first films that I did, Life After Death. I'll put a link in the description so you guys can have a look. Thank you to Michael Dobos for shooting the behind the scenes for that. The actual video was shot on the GH4, which I'll come to in a moment. But yeah, guys, the GH3 is a great camera. I sold mine at the time, but generally speaking, if you're lucky to find one now, they're a bit harder to find. If you can get one used, they go for roughly about $500. So a little bit more than the 600D, but I reckon it's a nice upgrade. Now let's talk a little bit about the GH4. Now the GH4 obviously was the next successor after the GH3. I found the GH4 to be a good camera, but for me, it wasn't my personal favorite. It does shoot 4K, and but for me, the main thing that I didn't like about it was there was a crop on the 4K, which wasn't a big, which was a little bit of a deal breaker for me. The GH4 generally goes for about $800. I've seen a couple on Marketplace you can get for about $650. That is only for the body. You will have to buy lens separately for that. The Micro Four Thirds lenses that the GH4, the GH5, and the GH3 use are a little bit pricey, but generally speaking, they're a lot cheaper than full frame lenses. Another camera that you guys can look out for that kind of competes with the 600D, and I think is obviously a better option, is the Panasonic G7. Now, the Panasonic G7 shoots up to 4K, 100 megabits per second, up to 30 frames. That's amazing, guys, and you can pick that up used for about $400. If you want to buy it new, you're looking at around $600 to $700 brand new, which is incredible. But if you want to pick it up used, you can buy it for about $400, and it allows you to shoot 4K up to 30 frames per second, which is a great option, guys. Honestly, I'd highly recommend it, especially if you got like a GH5 or something else as a B cam, or even as a first cam. It's a fantastic camera, and I highly recommend it, especially if you want to kind of get into that 4K market. If you're not in a rush to the 4K market, I'd still recommend it. It still shoots 1080, fantastic. It's got great image. It just depends, if you have any lenses at the moment. If you don't and you're starting completely fresh, the Panasonic G7 might be a great option. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. But you guys have a lot of options for under $1,000. So sorry, the GH5, I should say right now, just to clarify, the GH5 wasn't really part of the list. I thought I'd just chuck it in as an option. But this camera is definitely over $1,000. But the other cameras that I've talked about today, you can pick up all of them for under $1,000, guys, which is just crazy. So you got the 600D, the GoPro Hero 7, you have the Panasonic G7, the Panasonic GH3, and the Panasonic GH4. I hope this video has helped you guys out today. If you guys have any questions, or if you want videos more like this, please leave a like and a comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you later.